Alright, here we go with the first recap. So I thought I'd start with talking about Skype, since you asked about do you have to go back to Skype to always get the PDFs, and I asked if you knew where they're actually being saved. So I'm going to show you how you can figure out and even change what folder it gets saved to. So already signed in here. So if you go up to hopefully we have the same version, and it looks this way. So up at the top left, you got your name, whatnot. If you go over, sorry, there, I got the mouse on the right window now. So yeah, over next to your name, you got these three dots. You click on that, you go to settings, and let's see, where did I find that? Go to messaging. Whoops, what did it do? It went away. Oh no. Okay, there we go. So go to messaging, and then down here it says when I receive a file. So if you, right now mine, it saves to my downloads folder. So if you click on that guy, that'll pop the folder open. And if you want to change it, just click on change directory, and you should be able to select whatever folder it is that you want. So hopefully that helps you out there. And if I remember, I can just send all the PDFs in the video recap. If there's a day where I can't get the recap over to you right away, because sometimes the video might not come out until the next day, just depends on what the schedule is like for me. So yeah, if I ever forget to attach the PDFs, let me know. But yeah, that's how you can find the stuff that you get from Skype. And alright, so here we go. So I'll be demonstrating everything, talking about all that stuff. There's number one, going in order here. So the interval stuff that was discussed, and again, we're going to go big time in depth with this eventually. But basically, intervals, it's a unit of measurement for music. Just as an inch is always an inch, foot's always a foot, and so on. The interval structures will always be the same. So we're talking about like how far up in pitch we're going, or maybe how far down in pitch that we're going. So I used the C scale, C major scale. So if you say a C scale, it's just the short way of saying C major scale. It's just like if you say a C chord, you can say C major chord, or you can just say C chord for short, and you get the same thing. So it's basically implied that it's major when you just say the root note of something. So the C scale, it's implied that it's major. A C chord, it's implied that it's major. So anyway, so if you count the notes, you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root note an octave higher there. So basically just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that gives you the interval spacings of interval 1, interval 2, interval 3, interval 4, and so on. So if I go up to the second note in the major scale, that is a second higher. If I go 1, 2, 3, well, that's a third higher from the root note. And you can play a major scale anywhere. No matter where you play a major scale. I know I'm just demonstrating that real quick just to get the idea across there. Anywhere you play a major scale, as long as you follow that pattern, you will have a major scale in a new key. That's like the easy way to change keys. And we're going to be going over all that stuff too. Eventually. A lot of stuff to cover. We're going to just take nice little baby steps with it all. Just help get everything absorbed and whatnot. But, and then, yeah, so I was just talking about also when you're tuning the strings. So if you go E to A, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4 notes up in E major scale, so starting on E, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4 notes, well, that A note is a fourth higher in pitch than E. So yeah, E to A, you're going up a fourth. If you go A to D, you're going up a fourth there. If you're going D to G, that's up a fourth again. And then G to B, that's up a third and then B to E, that's up a fourth again. So your guitar is tuned in fourths for everything except the G and the B string. And I have been told the reason why is so we can play bar chords like this and open chords and whatnot more easily. So just kind of makes scales look kind of funny sometimes. But anyway, we'll get to that eventually too. So with exercise number 1, I would like you to try tapping your foot with this, even though you're doing the arpeggios. If it feels too difficult, then don't worry about that. We will get to tapping the foot and making sure everything's all nice and pretty with arpeggios eventually as well. The main reason I wanted to give you this is to help train your fingers to be in the correct placement. So anytime when you're playing this exercise, if you hear something that sounds wrong, adjust whatever finger needs to be adjusted. Take a look at your left hand and see what needs to happen. So the big thing I heard today was your ring finger wasn't far enough over. It was kind of drifting to the left a bit and then getting that kind of sound instead of that. I think one time the pinky wasn't held down hard enough and you had a little bit of a funny note there, but that was the only time really. So the thing that's going to help get those stretches is instead of having your thumb over here to the left of your index finger, move right over there. That was a loud whistle. Move right over there, like basically behind where your middle finger is. And then as you go down and up, that thumb's going to come right along for the right. But yeah, a lot of people, when they shift up like that, the thumb drags behind. It's kind of an afterthought for a lot of people. And I never knew about it until my guitar teacher pointed it out to me, because he gave me these 3-note per string scales down here, or starting down here, and I couldn't make the stretch because I always had my thumb in a bad spot. I was like, how am I supposed to do that? And he just said, just move your thumb in the middle of your hand. Like, oh, that was that. It's like just one tiny little change with the hand placement, and there you go. So whenever you start playing anything, check your thumb. Try your best to remember to check the thumb. And that will take time until it becomes second nature. So I'm going to demonstrate all of these at a few different speeds. So metronome work. Once you become comfortable without the metronome, just playing through this guy, again, get comfortable with it without the metronome first, and then go to the metronome. So bare minimum, what I'd like you to shoot for with this is playing it at 60 beats a minute in time with the metronome, and work it up to 120, and no faster than that. And that's going to be with all 4 of these. So another thing, I'm going to be talking a bit more about stuff, just kind of preliminary things, just so you know how to approach all the practice sessions and whatnot you're going to be doing. So anytime you make a mistake when you're running through something, don't just keep going. You want to correct that mistake right away. So let's say you get to the point where you're ready for the metronome and you're playing this guy here, and you have, let's say, a funny note creeps in. So you want to stop right where you are, correct that mistake. So let's say the G5. After you play that F5 and say the G5, it gets a little funny again. So instead of just continuing on, make the adjustment with your finger and play what just got corrected, and then start it over again. So a lot of people, when they're playing and practicing, they think that you just got to keep going even though the mistake is made. The only time I think that's okay is when you are like doing band practice stuff, where you're running through a song, because then you need to be able to just keep going with something when you're on stage. You can't just stop the whole band, like, wait a minute, I screwed up, let's start this part over again. So practicing even to continue after a mistake is made, yeah, band practice is like really like one of the only times you're going to want to do that. When it comes to practicing exercise stuff that we're going to be doing and working on honing your skills, you want to correct a mistake immediately. You don't want to just keep going, because all that does is it reinforces that mistakes are okay to make. So I am a big believer that practice makes perfect is not true at all, because you can practice something 1,000 times and make a bunch of mistakes in there, and all you've done is just played a bunch of mistakes, 1,000 times. You got, some stuff right, but not everything. So only perfect practice makes perfect. So you always want to go for a perfect take as best as you can. Treat practice sessions as if you are recording. So if you ask yourself, after you just played something, before you increase the speed of the metronome, ask yourself, was that a good enough take? Did I play it accurately? Did I play it 100% correct, to the best of my knowledge, best of my ability? If you feel like you didn't do it correctly, don't move the metronome speed up. Try it again. Always play it perfect before you move up on the metronome speed. Speaking of metronome speeds, so you said that your metronome goes up by 2s. So if before you get the app, you said you were going to get, Tempo Metronome is the one I use, and that you can go up and down by 1s. So basically, my rule of thumb is you never want to go up by more than 5. So let's say for this example that's on the screen right now, you play the whole thing correctly at 60 beats a minute. Next thing you want to do is go up to 65, and then you play that correctly. You only have to play it correctly once, so you don't need to play it like 10 times in a row, no mistakes, before increasing the metronome speed. That's a very common mistake a lot of players do. They think they have to repeat something like crazy before they increase the speed. It's not necessary, especially in terms of like increasing your speed and whatnot. So I know like speed isn't a big goal for you, but going to make sure that you can play comfortably fast enough for any of the stuff that you want to do. So working on speed is absolutely going to be an important factor, even though we're not going for crazy breakneck speed type stuff. So yeah, just play it correctly once, bump it up. So for you, I'd say bump it up 4. This is with the metronome that you have right now. And then once you get the app where you can go up by 1 beat per minute increments, go ahead and go up by 5s. And ideally, what I want you to do each day at your practice is, you're going to start at 60 every single time. So let's say with exercise 1 right now, let's say by the end of today or maybe tomorrow, you get it from 60 all the way up to 100. Well, the next day you practice, you start at 60 again. You never want to start higher than that. I use weight training analogies a lot with this type of stuff. So, if you're going to be doing a heavy lift, you still need to go through all your warm-up sets to make sure you're ready for it. Get the body ready for it, get your mindset for it. So, with increasing guitar speed stuff, same thing. So you're basically doing like a bunch of warm-up sets to get to your higher speed. So you're playing it slow, make sure that it's done right, working on your accuracy with the rhythm, and doing all those small repetitions, like all those many repetitions as you gradually increase the speed, is going to help put everything in your muscle memory, and it'll just get easier and easier to go from 60 up to the 120. Now, with that being said, for the sake of time here, and obviously, like as you progress throughout the week, let's say you get to 120 with all of them, okay? Instead of going 60, 65, 70, 75 every single practice session, you can use your own judgment here and maybe go up by 10s after you've gotten this stuff down, okay? So let's say the example up on screen right now. So let's say you're on day 2, you got it to 120 beats a minute. Well, day 3, and then let's say the 120 beats a minute didn't feel difficult at all. So maybe day 3 you start at 60 and then you go to 70. And then you go to 80 and it starts to feel a bit more difficult. Well, after that, then start going up by the 5s again. and let's say, you know, day 5 of practice, things are going pretty well. So bare minimum speeds I'd like you to try. Bare minimum speeds every day. If all this stuff gets all the way up to 120 and things feel good, I want you to play everything at 60, 80, 100, and 120 for bare minimum speeds. So I know that's a lot of stuff I just talked about there. So if you have any questions at all with that, and any questions whatsoever regarding music, anything at all, you know, please let me know. You're always welcome to reach out to me in between lessons if there are any questions you feel like something isn't working right, like, yeah, just no matter what it is, reach out to me, and let me know what's going on. Let me know what questions you have, and I'll do the best I can to answer them for you in between each class. So I think we're ready to play some stuff. So you know what, for the demo speeds, I'm going to play those bare minimums that I just mentioned there. So you are welcome and encouraged to use these videos, you know, to play along with me and just kind of judge how you are playing against what I'm doing, and just make sure it all lines up correctly and whatnot. And I'm going to count everything off, count of 4, and check your thumb placement. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4. All right, 80 beats a minute next. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4. And remember, for this one, pick it however you feel comfortable. No need to do alternate picking or anything like that in this one. Just whatever feels natural is fine. So long as the notes sound good, that's the most important part here. 100 beats a minute now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the top speed to get to 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4. Boop. Okay. On to exercise number 2. So here, for exercises 2, 3, and 4, definitely tap the foot the whole time you're playing, all the way from 60 to 120. Say it at the very least, be able to say this as you play it at the 60 beats a minute. I'd like you to try counting out loud as you play as far as you can. So if you can work up to counting out loud at 120 beats per minute, that's very, very good. When we move on to 16th notes, that is the same speed at 60 beats a minute. I'm going to start this whole sentence over again. So 60 beats a minute, 16th notes. That is the same speed as playing 8th notes at 120 beats a minute. So you're going to be strumming and counting about the same speed. So that's why I'm saying now, try going to 120 while counting everything out loud. Because when we do go to 16th notes and start you off with things at 60 beats a minute there, you're going to be counting out loud with that too. So you will technically be counting just as fast. And again, if you have any questions with that, let me know. So here we go. I'm going to do the same 4 speeds: 60, 80, 100, and 120. Here we go. So foot tapping. You're going to sync the hand and foot up. Every time you have a down stroke, it'll be on the down beat, and your up beats will have the up stroke. Thumb placement check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 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 3, 4, 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 done. So remember the last chord on these rhythm progressions here, don't need to let it ring out the full whole note. Just hit it, get the resolve the progression, and you're good. All right, here we go with 80. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 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 3, 4, done. 100 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 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 3, 4, done. 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 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 3, 4, done. Okay, here comes number 3. Here we go, 60 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, done. 80 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, done. 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, done. And 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, done. All right. Number 4, where the upbeat changes each bar. All right. So if you need to, just practice counting it before you start strumming it. You can just count along with me here. Here we go at 60 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 80. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and done. 100 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and done. And last 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and done. Here we go. And so one last thing. If you can and you'd like to, record your demo stuff before the lesson starts next week. You can send that on Sunday, or maybe send it Monday before the lesson, and then I can just watch that, so you don't have to deal with the pressure of having to perform it live. So what I'm going to ask you to do is demonstrate everything starting at 60 and again at 120. If you don't get to 120, I'll ask you to demonstrate it to whatever the higher speed was that you got, or maybe just a little bit lower than that, just so you're not pushing yourself too much. So basically, the starting speed and the top speed. Okay, so I think that covers everything. And always, any questions whatsoever, please let me know. Lesson 1 is done. The next recap probably won't be as long, because now we've gone over the preliminary stuff, how to practice with the metronome, what to do when a mistake is made, and things like that. Alright, off to a good start, and I'll see you next week.